Have you ever had someone you trusted completely, someone you thought would always be there for you, suddenly turn their back on you? Maybe it was a longtime friend who you considered closer than family. Maybe it was a romantic partner who you were sure was your soulmate. Or maybe it was even an actual family member, a sibling, a parent, a child. Whoever it was, their sudden change of heart left you feeling shocked, betrayed, and utterly alone. If you've experienced this, I want you to know that you're not alone in that experience. In fact, I believe that having people suddenly change on us is an inevitable part of the human experience. It's a painful reality that we all face at some point in our lives. Why does this happen? How can someone who meant so much to us suddenly become a stranger? There are many reasons. Sometimes it's because of mistakes we've made or conflicts that have gone unresolved. Sometimes it's because the other person is going through their own struggles and changes that have nothing to do with us. And sometimes, as much as we may not want to admit it, it's simply because the relationship has run its course and it's time for both people to move on. Whatever the reason, the pain of that sudden change can be devastating. It can make us question everything we thought we knew about that person and about ourselves. It can shatter our trust, not just in that individual, but in people in general. It can leave us feeling lost, scared, and alone in the world. But as difficult as this experience is, I believe it is also an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, and to learn how to survive and thrive on our own. See, as much as we may want to rely on others, the truth is that the only person we can ever truly count on is ourselves. People will come and go from our lives, sometimes by choice and sometimes by circumstance, and while their presence can bring us great joy and comfort, their absence cannot break us. We must learn to find that joy and comfort within ourselves. This is not to say that we should close ourselves off from others or stop valuing the relationships we have. On the contrary, I believe we should cherish the people in our lives while we have them and invest in those relationships fully. But we must also remember that no one else is responsible for our happiness, our success, or our sense of self-worth. Those things must come from within. So how do we do that? How do we learn to survive and thrive on our own, even in the face of sudden change and loss? Here are a few things I've learned in my own journey. First, we must learn to love and accept ourselves, flaws and all. We must become our own best friends, our own greatest champions. Rather than seeking validation from others, we must learn to validate ourselves. Rather than relying on others to make us feel good about ourselves, we must learn to find that goodness within. This is not always easy, especially if we've spent a lifetime being hard on ourselves or seeking approval from others. But it is essential if we want to build a foundation of self-love and self-acceptance that can weather any storm. Second, we must cultivate our own interests, passions, and purpose. We must find the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and meaning independent of anyone else. This could be a hobby, a career, a spiritual practice, a volunteer activity, anything that makes us feel alive and connected to something greater than ourselves. When we have something that we're passionate about, something that drives us and gives our life meaning, we are much more resilient in the face of change and loss. Third, we must build a support system of friends, family, and community, but we must also learn to be okay on our own. We should absolutely nurture the relationships that bring us joy and support, but we cannot depend on them to always be there. We must learn to enjoy our own company, to be comfortable in solitude, and to find peace and contentment within ourselves. This way, when people do come and go from our lives, we are not left feeling empty and alone. Fourth, we must learn to embrace change, even when it is painful. We must recognize that change is a natural and inevitable part of life, and that resisting it only causes suffering. Instead, we must learn to flow with change, to adapt and evolve as necessary. This doesn't mean we won't feel pain or grief when someone important to us suddenly changes. Those feelings are valid and necessary. But it does mean recognizing that this change is not the end of our story, and that we have the strength and resilience to keep moving forward. Finally, we must learn to forgive both others and ourselves. Holding on to anger, resentment, and bitterness only hurts us in the end. It keeps us stuck in the past and prevents us from moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning hurtful behavior or forgetting what happened. It simply means making the choice to release the pain and start to heal. It means recognizing that everyone is on their own journey, fighting their own battles and doing the best they can with what they have. And it means extending that same compassion and understanding to ourselves. I know that putting these things into practice is not always easy, especially in the midst of heartbreak and loss. But I also know from experience that they work. When we learn to love and accept ourselves, to cultivate our own passions and purpose, to build a support system while also being okay on our own, to embrace change and to practice forgiveness, we become unstoppable. We become the architects of our own joy and fulfillment, regardless of what others do or don't do. So if you find yourself in a place of sudden change and loss, know that you are not alone. Know that you have the strength and resilience within you to not just survive this, but to thrive. Know that this painful experience can be the catalyst for a beautiful transformation if you allow it to be. And know that no matter who comes and goes from your life, you always have the most important person by your side, yourself. It won't be easy. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, when you're not sure how you'll make it through. On those days, be extra gentle with yourself. Surround yourself with things that bring you comfort and peace. Reach out to your support system. Cry, scream, punch a pillow, do whatever you need to do to let your feelings out. But then, take a deep breath, square your shoulders, and keep moving forward. One day at a time, one moment at a time. I believe in you. I believe in your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise from the ashes of this experience and create something beautiful. You've got this, and you are never, ever alone. The journey of learning to survive and thrive on your own is a lifelong one. It's not a destination we reach, but a daily practice we commit to. Some days will be easier than others. Some changes will shake us more than others. But with each experience, we grow stronger and wiser. We become more deeply rooted in our own sense of self, more confident in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way. As you navigate this journey, remember to be patient with yourself. Healing takes time, and there is no set timeline for grief. Allow yourself to feel all of your feelings without judgment or shame. Some days you may feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and that's okay. Progress is not always linear. Remember, too, to find joy and gratitude wherever you can. Even in the darkest of times, there is always something to be thankful for, always some small beauty to be found. Maybe it's the comfort of a warm cup of coffee in the morning, or the sound of birds singing outside your window. Maybe it's the kindness of a stranger, or the resilience of your own beating heart. Look for those moments of light, and let them nourish and sustain you. And as you learn to survive and thrive on your own, don't be afraid to let others in when the time is right. While it's true that we cannot depend on others for our happiness and self-worth, it's also true that we are not meant to go through life alone. We are social creatures, wired for connection and community. As you heal and grow, you may find yourself attracting new people into your life, people who see and appreciate the strength and beauty within you. Be open to those connections, but also be discerning. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who support and encourage you, who bring out the best in you. Above all, remember that your worth is not defined by the people who leave or the changes that come. Your worth is inherent, unchanging, and unshakable. You are enough, exactly as you are, in this moment and in every moment. No person or circumstance can take that away from you. So keep going, my friend. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming the fullest expression of yourself. Trust the journey, trust the process, and most importantly, trust yourself. You've got this, and you are never alone. Life has a funny way of teaching us the lessons we need to learn, often through the most painful experiences. When someone we love suddenly changes, it can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under us, like the world as we knew it has been turned upside down. But what if we chose to see this change not as a curse, but as a blessing in disguise? What if we chose to see it as an opportunity to finally put ourselves first, to prioritize our own needs and desires, to become our own best friend and greatest love? What if we chose to see it as a chance to rediscover who we are, separate from anyone else's expectations or definitions? It's not an easy journey, to be sure. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to sit with discomfort and uncertainty. It requires letting go of old stories and beliefs that no longer serve us and embracing new ones that do. It requires taking responsibility for our own happiness and fulfillment, rather than placing that burden on someone else. But oh, the rewards of this journey are so sweet. When we learn to love and accept ourselves fully, we become free. Free from the need for external validation, free from the fear of abandonment, free from the chains of codependency. We become whole in ourselves, content in our own company, at peace in our own skin. And from that place of wholeness, we are able to show up more fully in all of our relationships with friends, with family, with romantic partners. We are able to give and receive love more freely, without attachment or expectation. We are able to communicate more honestly and authentically, without fear of rejection or judgment. We are able to create relationships based on mutual respect, support, and growth, rather than need or dependency. So if you find yourself in the midst of a sudden change, a painful ending, a period of deep uncertainty, take heart. You are exactly where you need to be. This is your invitation to come home to yourself, to discover your own inner strength and resilience, to become your own hero. It won't happen overnight. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. You may find yourself slipping back into old patterns, seeking comfort in familiar places. Be gentle with yourself in those moments. Forgive yourself for not being perfect, for still having lessons to learn, and then keep going, keep growing, keep becoming. Remember, too, that survival is not just about getting through the hard times. It's about learning to thrive in spite of them. It's about finding joy and purpose and meaning even in the face of adversity. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. So seek out the things that bring you alive, that light you up from the inside out. Pursue your passions, your curiosities, your wildest dreams. Surround yourself with people and experiences that inspire and uplift you, that challenge you to grow and evolve. Create a life that feels good and true and beautiful to you, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. And trust that in the process of learning to survive on your own, you are also learning to live more fully, more authentically, more joyfully than ever before. Trust that every ending is also a new beginning, every loss is also a gain, every change is also an opportunity. You are so much stronger than you know, so much braver, so much wiser, so much more capable than you give yourself credit for. You have everything you need within you to not just survive this, but to thrive. So keep going, my dear. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The world needs your unique light, your special brand of magic. Don't let anyone or anything dim that light. Let it shine bright and fierce and unapologetic. And know that even in your darkest moments, you are never alone. You are held, you are loved, you are seen by the universe, by the divine, by the countless souls who have walked this path before you and alongside you. You are part of a great tapestry, a beautiful web of connection and resilience and hope. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and remember who you are. Remember your strength, your courage, your unshakable spirit. Remember that you were born for this, that you were made for this journey. And then take the next step, and the next, and the next. Keep going, keep growing, keep becoming. The world is waiting for you. Life is an unpredictable journey filled with twists and turns, ups and downs, joys and sorrows. We never know what's waiting for us around the next corner, and that can be both exhilarating and terrifying. But one thing is certain: change is inevitable. People will come and go, situations will shift, and we will be called to adapt and evolve in ways we never could have imagined. It's tempting, in the face of all this uncertainty, to cling tightly to the people and things we love, to try to control and predict and plan for every possible outcome. But the truth is, no matter how much we may want to, we cannot control other people. We cannot make them stay. We cannot change them. We cannot force them to be who we want them to be. And that's okay, because the only person we ever really have control over is ourselves. The only person we can ever truly change or rely on is ourselves. And when we learn to do that, to love and trust and depend on ourselves, first and foremost, we become unstoppable. So how do we get there? How do we learn to be our own anchor in the storm, our own safe haven in a world of constant change? It starts with self-awareness, with getting honest about our own needs and desires, our own strengths and weaknesses, our own patterns and tendencies. It starts with learning to listen to our own inner voice, to trust our own intuition and wisdom. It also means learning to set boundaries, to say no when something doesn't feel right, to walk away from people or situations that are no longer serving us. It means learning to prioritize our own well-being, even if that means disappointing others or going against the grain. And it means learning to be okay with being alone, to find joy and fulfillment and purpose within ourselves rather than seeking it from external sources. It means learning to enjoy our own company, to be our own best friend and greatest love. None of this is easy, of course. It takes time and practice and patience. It takes a willingness to face our own fears and insecurities, to confront the parts of ourselves we may have been avoiding or denying. It takes courage to stand in our own truth, even when it feels uncomfortable or scary. But the rewards of this work are immeasurable. When we learn to survive and thrive on our own, we become free. Free from the need for validation or approval, free from the fear of abandonment or rejection, free from the chains of codependency or people-pleasing. We become whole and complete in ourselves, capable of weathering any storm or change that comes our way. And from that place of wholeness, we are able to show up more fully in all of our relationships with ourselves, with others, with the world around us. We are able to give and receive love more freely without attachment or expectation. We are able to communicate more honestly and authentically without fear of judgment or rejection. We are able to create a life that feels true and beautiful and meaningful to us, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. So if you find yourself facing a sudden change or loss, know that you are not alone. Know that you have the strength and resilience within you to not just survive, but to thrive. Know that this painful experience can be the catalyst for a powerful transformation if you allow it to be. And know that no matter what happens, you always have the most important person by your side, yourself. Your own inner wisdom, your own unshakable spirit, your own boundless capacity for love and growth and healing. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and remember who you are. Remember your strength, your courage, your resilience. Remember that you were born for this, that you were made for this journey. And then take the next step, and the next, and the next. Keep going, keep growing, keep becoming. The world is waiting for you. In the end, learning to survive and thrive on our own is not about becoming an island unto ourselves. It's not about shutting out the world or closing off our hearts. In fact, it's just the opposite. When we learn to love and accept ourselves fully, we become more open and available to genuine connection and intimacy with others. When we learn to depend on ourselves, we become more interdependent, more capable of healthy and reciprocal relationships. When we learn to find our own joy and purpose, we become more able to share that joy and purpose with the world around us. Because the truth is, we are all connected. We are all part of a greater web of life, a greater story of love and loss and redemption. And when we learn to stand strong in ourselves, to be our own anchor and safe haven, we become a beacon of hope and healing for others who are struggling. We become a reminder that no matter how dark the night may seem, dawn is always on the horizon. That no matter how many times we may fall, we always have the power to get back up again. That no matter how much pain we may endure, we also have the capacity for great joy and love and beauty. So as you navigate the ups and downs of this journey called life, remember that you are not alone. Remember that you are part of a great tapestry, a beautiful web of connection and resilience and hope. Remember that every ending is also a new beginning, every loss is also a gain, every change is also an opportunity. And remember that your story is not over yet. You have so much more love to give, so much more life to live, so much more beauty to create. You have a unique purpose and passion that only you can bring to the world. So keep going, my dear. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming, keep showing up for yourself day after day, moment after moment. Keep choosing love over fear, courage over comfort, growth over stagnation. And trust that even in your darkest moments, you are held. You are loved. You are seen. By the universe, by the divine, by the countless souls who have walked this path before you and alongside you. You are never alone. You are always supported. You are always capable of rising again. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and remember who you are. Remember your strength, your resilience, your unshakable spirit. Remember that you were born for this, that you were made for this journey. And then take the next step, and the next, and the next. Keep going, keep growing, keep growing, keep becoming. The world needs your light. The world needs your love. The world needs your love. The world needs you. You've got this. Life is a beautiful, complex, and sometimes painful journey. It is filled with moments of joy and sorrow, love and loss, connection and isolation. And through it all, we are asked to learn and grow and evolve in ways we never could have imagined. One of the most profound lessons we can learn on this journey is how to survive and thrive on our own. How to be our own anchor in the storm, our own safe haven in a world of constant change. How to love and accept ourselves fully even when others may not. How to find our own joy and purpose and meaning, even in the face of adversity. This lesson often comes to us through the painful experience of having someone we love suddenly change or leave our lives. Whether it's a romantic partner, a close friend, or a family member, the loss of that connection can be devastating. It can leave us feeling lost, confused, and alone, wondering how we'll ever be able to go on without them. But what if we chose to see this experience not as a punishment, but as an invitation? An invitation to go deeper into ourselves, to discover our own inner strength and resilience, to become our own best friend and greatest love? What if we chose to use this pain as a catalyst for growth and transformation, as a chance to finally put ourselves first and prioritize our own needs and desires? It's not an easy journey, to be sure. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to face our own shadows and fears. It requires letting go of old stories and beliefs that no longer serve us and embracing new ones that do. It requires taking responsibility for our own happiness and fulfillment rather than placing that burden on someone else. But the rewards of this journey are immeasurable. When we learn to love and accept ourselves fully, we become free. Free from the need for external validation, free from the fear of abandonment, free from the chains of codependency. We become whole in ourselves, content in our own company, at peace in our own skin. And from that place of wholeness, we are able to show up more fully in all of our relationships with friends, with family, with romantic partners. We are able to give and receive love more freely without attachment or expectation. We are able to communicate more honestly and authentically without fear of rejection or judgment. We are able to create relationships based on mutual respect, support, and growth rather than need or dependency. So if you find yourself in the midst of a sudden change or loss, know that you are exactly where you need to be. This is your invitation to come home to yourself, to discover your own inner strength and resilience, to become your own hero. It won't happen overnight. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. You may find yourself slipping back into old patterns, seeking comfort in familiar places. Be gentle with yourself in those moments. Forgive yourself for not being perfect, for still having lessons to learn. And then keep going, keep growing, keep becoming. Remember, too, that survival is not just about getting through the hard times. It's about learning to thrive in spite of them. It's about finding joy and purpose and meaning, even in the face of adversity. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. So seek out the things that bring you alive, that light you up from the inside out. Pursue your passions, your curiosities, your wildest dreams. Surround yourself with people and experiences that inspire and uplift you, that challenge you to grow and evolve. Create a life that feels good and true and beautiful to you, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. And trust that in the process of learning to survive on your own, you are also learning to live more fully, more authentically, more joyfully than ever before. Trust that every ending is also a new beginning, every loss is also a gain, every change is also an opportunity. You are so much stronger than you know, so much braver, so much wiser, so much more capable than you give yourself credit for. You have everything you need within you to not just survive this, but to thrive. So keep going, my dear. Keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming. The world needs your unique light, your special brand of magic. Don't let anyone or anything dim that light. Let it shine, bright and fierce and unapologetic. And know that even in your darkest moments, you are never alone. You are held, you are loved, you are seen by the universe, by the divine, by the countless souls who have walked this path before you and alongside you. You are part of a great tapestry, a beautiful web of connection and resilience and hope. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and remember who you are. Remember your strength, your courage, your unshakable spirit. Remember that you were born for this, that you were made for this journey. And then take the next step and the next and the next. Keep going, keep growing, keep becoming. The world is waiting for you. As you navigate this journey of learning to survive and thrive on your own, it's important to remember that healing is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you're making great strides, when you feel strong and capable and full of hope. And there will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back, when the pain feels fresh and raw and overwhelming. Both of these experiences are a normal and necessary part of the healing process. It's important to honor and make space for all of your feelings without judgment or shame. Allow yourself to grieve fully, to feel the depth of your loss and sadness, but also allow yourself to feel moments of joy and gratitude, to find beauty and hope even in the midst of your pain. One of the most powerful tools we have for healing is self-compassion. When we're going through a difficult time, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to criticize and judge ourselves for not being over it yet, for still struggling or making mistakes. But what we really need in those moments is kindness and understanding. Imagine how you would treat a dear friend who is going through the same thing you are. You would offer them love and support, reassurance and encouragement. You would remind them of their strength and resilience, of all the ways they've overcome challenges in the past. You would give them permission to feel all their feelings without rushing them or trying to fix them. Now imagine extending that same compassion and care to yourself. Imagine speaking to yourself with the same love and gentleness you would offer a beloved friend. Imagine giving yourself permission to be exactly where you are, to feel exactly what you feel, without judgment or shame. Self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook or making excuses for your behavior. It's about recognizing that you are a human being with all the flaws and imperfections that come with that. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and respect you would extend to anyone else you love. Another important aspect of healing is finding ways to connect with something larger than yourself. When we're going through a tough time, it's easy to feel isolated and alone, like we're the only ones struggling or in pain. But the truth is, we are all part of a greater web of life, a greater story of love and loss and redemption. Finding ways to connect with that larger story can be incredibly healing and empowering. It might mean connecting with nature, spending time in the beauty and majesty of the outdoors. It might mean connecting with your spiritual or religious beliefs, finding comfort and guidance in your faith. It might mean connecting with your community, reaching out to friends or family or support groups who understand what you're going through. Whatever it looks like for you, finding ways to feel part of something larger can remind you that you are not alone, that your pain and struggle have meaning and purpose, that you are part of a beautiful and interconnected world. It's also important to remember that healing is not about trying to go back to the way things were before. When we experience a significant loss or change, it alters us forever. We cannot go back to being the same person we were before, no matter how much we may want to. Instead, healing is about learning to integrate our experiences into a new sense of self, a new way of being in the world. It's about finding meaning and purpose in our pain, about allowing it to soften and expand us rather than harden and contract us. This process can be scary and uncomfortable at times. It requires letting go of old identities and patterns, stepping into the unknown and unfamiliar. But it is also an opportunity for tremendous growth and transformation, for becoming more fully and authentically ourselves. As you navigate this process of integration and becoming, be patient and compassionate with yourself. Remember that healing happens in its own time, in its own way. Trust the journey even when it feels hard or scary or uncertain. And remember, too, that you are not defined by your pain or your struggles. Yes, they are a part of your story, but they are not the whole of it. You are so much more than the worst things that have happened to you. You are a beautiful, complex, resilient being with gifts and strengths and possibilities beyond measure. So keep going, my love. Keep healing, keep growing, keep becoming. Trust the journey, trust the process, and most of all, trust yourself. You've got this. And you are never, ever alone. As you continue on this journey of learning to survive and thrive on your own, it's important to cultivate a deep sense of self-trust. This means learning to listen to and honor your own inner wisdom, your own intuition and instincts. So often in life, we look outside ourselves for guidance and validation. We seek the opinions and approval of others. We try to fit into societal norms and expectations. We second-guess ourselves and doubt our own judgment. But the truth is, no one knows what's best for you better than you do. No one else can live your life for you or make your choices for you. Learning to trust yourself is a process of tuning in, of getting quiet and still enough to hear the whispers of your own heart. It means paying attention to your body, your emotions, your desires and aversions. It means honoring your own boundaries and limits, saying no when something doesn't feel right, even if others don't understand. It also means trusting your own resilience and resourcefulness, knowing that you have the strength and wisdom to handle whatever challenges come your way. It means believing in your own worth and value, even when others may not see it or reflect it back to you. Cultivating self-trust is not about becoming rigid or inflexible or shutting out the wisdom and support of others. It's about finding a healthy balance between your own inner guidance and the input and perspective of those you trust and respect. It's about being open to learning and growth, while also staying true to yourself and your own path. As you deepen your self-trust, you may find that your relationships begin to shift and change. You may find yourself letting go of people or situations that no longer serve you, that don't align with your values or support your growth. This can be painful and difficult, but it is also a necessary part of creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling to you. At the same time, you may find yourself attracting new people and opportunities into your life, ones that resonate with your true self and your deepest desires. You may find yourself surrounded by a community of like-minded souls, people who see and appreciate you for who you really are. Remember, too, that trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll always make the right choice or avoid mistakes and missteps. It simply means that you're committed to learning and growing from your experiences, to taking responsibility for your own life and happiness. So keep listening to your own inner voice, keep honoring your own truth. Trust the wisdom of your heart, the intelligence of your body, the power of your intuition. And know that as you do, you are becoming more and more the person you were always meant to be. Life has a way of constantly inviting us to grow and evolve, to shed old skin and step into new ways of being. Sometimes these invitations come in the form of joyful new beginnings, exciting opportunities and expansions. But often they come through the painful experience of loss, change, and upheaval. When someone we love suddenly changes or leaves our life, it can feel like the ground beneath our feet has given way. Everything we thought we knew, everything we counted on to be solid and stable, is suddenly thrown into question. We may feel lost, unmoored, unsure of who we are or where we belong in the world. But what if we chose to see this groundlessness as a gift? What if we recognized it as an opportunity to finally let go of all the things we've been clinging to, all the false identities and limiting beliefs and outdated stories that have been holding us back? What if we saw it as a chance to finally discover who we really are beneath all the masks and roles and expectations we've been wearing? What if we allowed ourselves to be stripped down to our essence, to the raw truth of our being, so that we can rebuild ourselves from the ground up? This process of letting go and starting over is not for the faint of heart. It requires tremendous courage and willingness, a deep commitment to our own growth and evolution. It means facing our deepest fears and insecurities, embracing the discomfort of uncertainty and change. But on the other side of this process is a kind of freedom and authenticity we may have never known before. When we let go of who we thought we were supposed to be, we create space for who we truly are to emerge. When we release our grip on the past, we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities of the present and future. This doesn't mean that the pain of loss and change goes away completely. There will always be a part of us that grieves for what we've left behind, that feels the ache of attachment and longing. But as we learn to turn towards that pain with compassion and acceptance, we begin to transform it into something new. We begin to see that every ending is also a beginning, that every death is also a rebirth. We begin to trust in the cyclical nature of life, the eternal dance of creation and destruction, growth and decay. We begin to find beauty and meaning even in the midst of our struggles, to see the perfection and the imperfection of it all. And as we do this, we become more resilient, more adaptable, more capable of thriving in a world that is constantly changing. We learn to find stability and groundedness within ourselves rather than relying on external circumstances to make us feel safe and secure. We become our own anchor, our own true north. So if you find yourself in the midst of a great unraveling, a time of deep uncertainty and change, know that you are exactly where you need to be. Know that this is your invitation to let go of everything that no longer serves you, to create space for something new to be born. Trust the journey even when you can't see the path ahead. Trust the wisdom of your own soul, the intelligence of your own unfolding. And trust that as you step into the unknown, you are stepping into a greater version of yourself, a more authentic and aligned way of being in the world. Keep going, my love. Keep letting go, keep starting over, keep becoming. The world needs the fullness of who you are, the beauty and brilliance that can only emerge through the fires of transformation. You are so brave, so strong, so worthy of this journey, and you are never, ever alone. As we navigate the ups and downs of this journey called life, it's important to remember the power of gratitude. Even in the midst of great difficulty and pain, there is always something to be thankful for, always some small blessing or moment of beauty to appreciate. Gratitude is not about denying or minimizing our struggles or putting on a fake smile and pretending everything is okay when it's not. It's about training our minds to look for the good, even in the midst of the bad. It's about cultivating a sense of perspective, zooming out from our own personal drama to see the bigger picture of our lives and the world around us. When we're going through a tough time, it can be easy to get tunnel vision, to become so focused on our own pain and problems that we lose sight of anything else. But when we practice gratitude, we begin to widen our lens, to notice the small moments of joy and connection and beauty that are always available to us, even in the darkest of times. This might mean taking a moment each day to appreciate the simple things like a warm cup of coffee or a beautiful sunrise. It might mean reflecting on the people in our lives who love and support us, even if they're not physically present with us. It might mean finding ways to give back and be of service, recognizing that even in our own struggles, we still have the capacity to make a difference in the world. Gratitude is not a one-time event, but a daily practice, a way of living and being in the world. And like any practice, it gets easier and more natural the more we do it. Over time, we begin to retrain our brains to look for the good, to find the silver linings and the hidden blessings in even the toughest of circumstances. And as we do this, something incredible happens. We begin to feel more joyful, more resilient, more connected to the world around us. We begin to see that even in the midst of great loss and change, there is still so much to be grateful for, so much beauty and wonder and possibility in this life. Of course, practicing gratitude doesn't mean we never feel sad or angry or afraid. These feelings are a normal and necessary part of the human experience, and it's important to allow ourselves to feel them fully without judgment or shame. But gratitude gives us a way to hold these difficult feelings in a larger context, to remember that they are not the whole story of our lives. So as you navigate your own journey of learning to survive and thrive on your own, remember to look for the good. Remember to celebrate your own strength and resilience, to appreciate the small moments of joy and connection that are available to you each day. Keep a gratitude journal, or simply take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. Share your gratitude with others and let them know how much you appreciate them. And trust that as you cultivate this practice of gratitude, you are planting seeds of joy and abundance that will continue to grow and blossom in your life, no matter what challenges come your way. You are so worthy of all the good things in this life, my love. Keep opening your heart to the blessings that are all around you. Keep finding the beauty and the magic in each moment. And know that as you do, you are creating a life of profound meaning and purpose, a life that is a true reflection of your deepest values and desires. Keep shining your light, keep spreading your love, keep being the beautiful, brave, resilient soul that you are. The world needs your gratitude, your joy, your unique gift. And you are more than enough just as you are. One of the most profound gifts we can give ourselves on this journey of learning to survive and thrive on our own is the gift of self-love. This means learning to treat ourselves with the same kindness, compassion, and respect that we would offer to anyone else we care about. So often we are our own harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and berating ourselves for every mistake or imperfection. We compare ourselves to others and find ourselves wanting, convinced that we are somehow fundamentally flawed or unworthy of love and belonging. But the truth is, we are all worthy of love simply because we exist. We don't have to earn it or prove ourselves deserving of it. We don't have to be perfect or have it all figured out. We are enough exactly as we are in this moment. Learning to love ourselves is a process of unlearning all the messages we've internalized over the years that tell us otherwise. It means recognizing the ways in which we've been taught to doubt and criticize ourselves and choosing to replace those negative thought patterns with ones that are more loving and supportive. This might mean speaking to ourselves with kindness and gentleness, the way we would speak to a beloved friend. It might mean setting healthy boundaries and learning to say no to things that don't serve us, even if it disappoints others. It might mean prioritizing our own needs and desires, recognizing that we cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-love is not about being selfish or narcissistic, but about having a healthy and respectful relationship with ourselves. It's about recognizing our own inherent worth and value and treating ourselves accordingly. It's about giving ourselves permission to be human, to make mistakes and learn from them, to grow and evolve and change over time. And as we learn to love ourselves more fully, something incredible happens. We begin to show up differently in the world with more authenticity and confidence and joy. We begin to attract people and experiences that reflect our own self-worth, that support and celebrate us for who we really are. We also become better equipped to love and support others because we're no longer looking to them to fill the void within ourselves. We can give and receive love from a place of wholeness and abundance rather than scarcity and neediness. Of course, learning to love ourselves is a lifelong journey, and there will be days when it feels harder than others. There will be times when old patterns of self-doubt and self-criticism resurface, when we fall back into the trap of comparing ourselves to others or beating ourselves up for our perceived failings. But the more we practice self-love, the more resilient we become in the face of these challenges. We learn to catch ourselves in the act of self-judgment and choose a different response. We learn to be patient and compassionate with ourselves, to trust in our own journey of growth and healing. So as you navigate this path of learning to survive and thrive on your own, remember to be kind to yourself. Remember to treat yourself with the same love and care you would offer to anyone else you cherish. Remember that you are worthy of your own love and respect simply because you are you. Celebrate your own unique beauty and brilliance, your own strength and resilience and courage. Honor your own needs and desires, your own boundaries and limits. Trust in your own inherent goodness and worthiness, even when the world around you may not reflect it back to you. And know that as you learn to love yourself more fully, you are not only healing your own heart, but you are also helping to heal the world. Because the more we can learn to love and accept ourselves, the more we can extend that love and acceptance to others, creating a ripple effect of compassion and connection that touches everything and everyone around us. You are so worthy of your own love, my dear. Keep opening your heart to yourself. Keep embracing all the beautiful, messy, imperfect parts of who you are. And trust that as you do, you are becoming more and more the person you were always meant to be, shining your light brightly for all the world to see. As we learn to love and accept ourselves more fully, it's important to remember that this doesn't mean we'll never experience pain or hardship again. Life is full of ups and downs, joys and sorrows, and no amount of self-love can protect us from the inherent challenges of being human. But what self-love does give us is a greater capacity to weather these storms, to find strength and resilience within ourselves when things get tough. When we know our own worth and value, when we trust in our own ability to handle whatever comes our way, we become less easily knocked off balance by the inevitable difficulties of life. This doesn't mean we won't feel fear or sadness or anger when faced with loss or change or uncertainty. These feelings are a normal and healthy part of the human experience, and it's important to allow ourselves to feel them fully, without judgment or shame. But when we have a strong foundation of self-love, we're better able to hold these difficult feelings with compassion and care. We're less likely to get swept away by them or to let them define us. We can recognize that they are temporary experiences, passing through us like waves, rather than permanent states of being. Self-love also gives us the courage to take risks and step outside our comfort zones, knowing that even if we fail or stumble, we will still be okay. We can pursue our dreams and passions with greater confidence and resilience, trusting in our own ability to handle whatever challenges come our way. And perhaps most importantly, self-love allows us to show up more fully and authentically in our relationships with others. When we know our own worth, we're less likely to settle for relationships that don't honor or respect us. We're more likely to communicate our needs and boundaries clearly and directly, without fear of rejection or abandonment. We're also better able to extend love and compassion to others because we're not looking to them to fill the void within ourselves. We can give and receive love from a place of wholeness and abundance, recognizing that we are all worthy of love and belonging simply because we exist. Of course, building a strong foundation of self-love is a lifelong journey, and there will be times when it feels harder than others. There will be moments when old patterns of self-doubt and self-criticism resurface, when we question our own worth or compare ourselves unfavorably to others. But the more we practice self-love, the more resilient we become in the face of these challenges. We learn to catch ourselves in the act of self-judgment and choose a different response. We learn to be patient and compassionate with ourselves, to trust in our own journey of growth and healing. So as you navigate the ups and downs of this beautiful, messy, sometimes painful journey called life, remember to anchor yourself in self-love. Remember to treat yourself with kindness and compassion, to honor your own needs and desires, to celebrate your own unique beauty and brilliance. And remember that you are never alone on this path. You are part of a great web of connection and support held in the loving embrace of the universe itself. Trust in your own strength and resilience, and know that whatever challenges come your way, you have everything you need within you to face them with grace and courage. Keep shining your light, my love. Keep opening your heart to the beauty and wonder of this life, and know that as you do, you are helping to create a world of greater love and compassion, one brave and beautiful soul at a time. Learning to survive and thrive on our own is not just about building a strong sense of self-love and self-trust, although those are certainly important pieces of the puzzle. It's also about learning to take responsibility for our own lives, to become the authors of our own stories. So often we look outside ourselves for validation and approval, for someone else to tell us who we are and what we should do with our lives. We let other people's opinions and expectations dictate our choices and actions, even when they don't align with our own values and desires. But the truth is, no one else can live our lives for us. No one else can make our choices or face our challenges or pursue our dreams. That's up to us, and us alone. Taking responsibility for our own lives means recognizing that we are the ones in the driver's seat, the ones who get to choose the direction we want to go. It means being willing to take risks and make mistakes, to learn and grow and evolve along the way. It also means being willing to face our own fears and limitations, to push past our comfort zones and challenge ourselves to become more than we ever thought possible. It means being honest with ourselves about what we really want and need, and being willing to do the work to create a life that aligns with those values and desires. Of course, taking responsibility for our own lives doesn't mean we have to do everything on our own. We are social creatures wired for connection and community, and it's important to cultivate a strong network of support and encouragement along the way. But it does mean recognizing that ultimately we are the ones who get to choose who we surround ourselves with, who we allow to influence and shape our lives. We get to set our own boundaries and limits, to communicate our needs and desires clearly and directly. And when we take responsibility for our own lives, something incredible happens. We begin to feel more empowered and confident, more capable of handling whatever challenges come our way. We begin to trust in our own strength and resilience, to believe in our own ability to create the life we want to live. We also become better able to show up fully and authentically in the world, to pursue our passions and purpose with greater clarity and conviction. We stop waiting for someone else to give us permission or validation, and start giving those things to ourselves. Of course, taking responsibility for our own lives is not always easy. There will be times when we feel scared or overwhelmed, when we question our own abilities or doubt our own choices. There will be moments when we want to give up or give in, to let someone else take the reins. But the more we practice taking responsibility, the more natural and intuitive it becomes. We learn to trust our own instincts and judgment, to lean into the discomfort of uncertainty and change. We learn to be patient and compassionate with ourselves, to celebrate our own progress and growth along the way. So as you navigate this journey of learning to survive and thrive on your own, remember that you are the one in charge of your own life. Remember that you get to choose the story you want to tell, the legacy you want to leave behind. Take responsibility for your own happiness and fulfillment, your own growth and evolution. Be willing to face your fears and push past your limitations, to learn and grow and become more than you ever thought possible. And know that as you do, you are not only creating a life of greater meaning and purpose for yourself, but you are also inspiring others to do the same. Because when we take responsibility for our own lives, we give others permission to do the same, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and transformation that touches everything and everyone around us. You are so capable and powerful, my love. Keep trusting in your own strength and resilience. Keep believing in your own ability to create the life you want to live. And remember that you are never alone on this path, that the universe is conspiring in your favor, cheering you on every step of the way. As we take responsibility for our own lives and begin to author our own stories, it's important to remember the power of our thoughts and beliefs. The way we think about ourselves and the world around us has a profound impact on our experiences and outcomes, shaping the reality we create for ourselves. So often we get caught up in negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs, convinced that we are not good enough, smart enough, brave enough to achieve our dreams and desires. We focus on our flaws and failures, comparing ourselves unfavorably to others and beating ourselves up for every mistake or misstep. But the truth is, our thoughts are not facts. They are simply mental constructs, stories we tell ourselves based on our past experiences and conditioning. And the good news is, we have the power to change those stories, to choose new thoughts and beliefs that support and empower us. This is not about denying or suppressing our negative thoughts and feelings, but about learning to hold them with greater awareness and compassion. It's about recognizing that we are not our thoughts, that we have the ability to observe them without getting caught up in them. And as we cultivate this kind of mindful awareness, we begin to create space for new possibilities and perspectives to emerge. We start to question the thoughts and beliefs that have been holding us back, to challenge the assumptions and limitations we've placed on ourselves. We also begin to focus more on what we want to create and experience in our lives, rather than what we don't want. We learn to direct our attention and energy towards the things that bring us joy and fulfillment, the things that align with our deepest values and desires. This is not about engaging in positive thinking or affirmations or trying to force ourselves to feel happy and optimistic all the time. It's about cultivating a more balanced and realistic perspective, one that acknowledges the full range of human emotions and experiences. It's also about learning to trust in the inherent goodness and abundance of the universe, to believe that we are worthy and deserving of love, success, and happiness. It's about letting go of the scarcity mindset that tells us there is not enough to go around, and embracing a more expansive and generous view of life. Of course, shifting our thoughts and beliefs is not always easy, especially when they are deeply ingrained and have been with us for a long time. It requires patience and practice, a willingness to be curious and compassionate with ourselves as we navigate the ups and downs of this journey. But the more we focus on cultivating empowering thoughts and beliefs, the more natural and intuitive it becomes. We begin to see evidence of our own growth and progress, to feel more confident and capable in the face of challenges and setbacks. We also become better able to inspire and uplift others, to share our own wisdom and insights in a way that touches and transforms lives. Because when we change our own thoughts and beliefs, we help to change the collective consciousness, creating a ripple effect of positivity and possibility that extends far beyond ourselves. So as you navigate this path of learning to survive and thrive on your own, remember the power of your own mind. Remember that you get to choose the thoughts and beliefs that shape your reality, that you have the ability to create a life of greater joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Be willing to question the stories you've been telling yourself, to let go of the thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you. Cultivate a more expansive and empowering perspective, one that celebrates your own unique gifts and strengths, and trusts in the inherent goodness of the universe. And know that as you do, you are not only transforming your own life, but you are also helping to create a world of greater love, compassion, and possibility for all. Because when we change our own minds, we change everything. Keep shining your light, my love. Keep believing in your own power and potential. Keep focusing on the beauty and brilliance that is all around you and within you. And trust that as you do, you are creating a life and a world that is more than you ever dreamed possible. One of the most powerful tools we have for navigating the ups and downs of this journey called life is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple but profound act of bringing our attention fully into the present moment without judgment or resistance. So often we get caught up in the constant chatter of our minds, rehashing the past or worrying about the future. We get lost in our thoughts and emotions, disconnected from the reality of what is actually happening in the here and now. But when we practice mindfulness, we begin to cultivate a greater sense of presence and awareness, a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. We learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them, to respond rather than react to the challenges and opportunities of life. Mindfulness can take many different forms, from formal meditation practices to simple moments of pause and reflection throughout the day. It can involve paying attention to our breath, our bodily sensations, the sights and sounds and smells around us. It can also involve bringing a greater sense of intention and purpose to our actions and interactions, being fully present and engaged in whatever we are doing, whether it's having a conversation with a loved one, working on a project, or simply taking a walk in nature. The benefits of mindfulness are vast and far-reaching, impacting every area of our lives. Studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice can reduce stress and anxiety, improve focus and concentration, boost creativity and innovation, and enhance our overall sense of well-being and happiness. But perhaps even more importantly, mindfulness helps us to cultivate a greater sense of self-awareness and self-acceptance. When we learn to observe our own thoughts and feelings with curiosity and compassion, we begin to see ourselves more clearly, to understand the patterns and habits that have been shaping our lives. We also begin to develop a greater sense of choice and agency, recognizing that we are not our thoughts and emotions, that we have the power to respond rather than react to the challenges and opportunities of life. We learn to trust our own inner wisdom and intuition, to make choices that align with our deepest values and desires. Of course, like any skill, mindfulness takes practice and patience. There will be times when our minds wander, when we get caught up in old patterns of thought and behavior. There will be moments when we feel frustrated or discouraged, wondering if we're making any progress at all.
Have you even had someone you trust complete, someone you thought would always be there for you, suddenly turned their back on you? Maybe it was a longtime friend who you considered close than family. Maybe it was a romantic partner who you are sure was your soulmate, or maybe it was even an actually family member, a sibling, a partner, a child, where it was their sudden change of heart left you feeling shocked, betrayed, and truly alone if you are explored. this, I want you to know that you are not alone in that experience. In fact, I believe that having people suddenly change on us in inevitable part of the human experience. It's a painful reality that we all face at some point in our life. Why does this happen? How can someone who meant so much to us suddenly because a stranger? There are many reasons. Some things. Sometimes it's because of mistake we have made or confidence that have gone in some things it's because the other person is going through their own family and challenges that have nothing to do with us, and some things as we may not want to admit it.